I interviewed Solomon Jones in the lobby of the St. Joseph Hospital approximately about 7:05. This was a story he told all of us. As soon as the shot was fired, he looked out over the limousine. He saw a sniper with a white sheet on his face duck back down into the bushes. A few seconds later, he rose out of the bushes without the sheet, walked to the wall, jumped down from the wall. And you must understand that other people were coming out of the fire station at the same time, jumping from the wall. Solomon said this person he saw in the bushes joined in with the people jumping from the wall, jumped from the wall, walked on the premises, and he said he was scared.
Louis Ward was a taxi driver, and he had a taxi driver friend who came to Lorraine shortly before the killing to pick somebody up. And guy was putting his suitcases into the car, and Dr. King was up on the balcony, and this taxi driver started to look over, called Buddy, started to look over there into the bushes. He just was looking around because he thought he heard something, saw something in the bushes. And the guy tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Oh," directed his attention to the balcony. Look, there's Martin King. Oh, we see him with somebody, and oh, look how exposed he is now. And you know, people say how difficult it would be to kill him, but look, there he is. And all of a sudden, the shot rang out. And he's looking, and Dr. King, who was hit, of course, right here, and he went down. And this driver instinctively turned back to those bushes. And he saw a man come down over the wall and run up Mulberry Street and get into a white Memphis Police Department traffic car that was parked in between Mulberry and Huling like this. Get in and go away. So the guy gets on his radio and he said, King's been shot, but it looks, I don't know, maybe call an ambulance, but I think it's probably too late. But I think they got the guy anyway, because I just saw him get into a Memphis Police Department car. You know, so his buddy, Louis Ward, heard one part of this conversation with the dispatcher, and enough to know that this guy had seen something significant and who he was, and he was headed to the airport with this passenger who had to get out of there right away before all the ambulances came. So Louis went out, met him at the airport, and talked to him at the airport. He told him that story. He told him that story. And then 3 police officers came, and Louis stepped back, and he heard him tell the police officers the same story. And the way Louis was left, he was going to go down to see them, give them a statement the next morning. When Louis went back to the yellow cab place that night, he saw a lot of police cars around. And he figured the guy was being interviewed again, and that was all there was to it. And he went off. Now, because he was a part-time driver, he didn't come back to work for a few days. And when he came back in, he went into the driver's lounge, and he said, "Where's Buddy? I don't see Buddy." And there was this silence. And he said, "Where's Buddy? What's on the Buddy?" And I said, finally one guy said to him, "Didn't you hear?" I said, "No." Well, he was killed the night of the King assassination. Killed? What happened to him? Well, somehow he got himself thrown out of a moving car going across the Memphis, Arkansas bridge. And he's dead. And Louis was just shocked. And then, of course, Louis realized that maybe his friend had seen too much, and that was what happened. Well, Louis told this story also in the 93, 94, I think, I first heard Louis. So people held these facts, held this information in for all of these years, never told it, and because they were frightened, they were afraid, basically, so they held it back. And there's still people today holding things back.
And then I turn around and look back over my right shoulder, looking around to see, and I saw like a puff of smoke right behind the fire station where they had all of those bushes.
So in short, you think what you saw was the immediate moment just after the shot was fired?
Right, very much so.
And you're saying that you believe it was fired from the bushes behind the fire station?
Very much so.
Not the bathroom window?
That's correct. To this day, I haven't been talked to by the Justice Department, by the Memphis Police Department, no one about what I saw the day of the assassination. And I think some of the stuff was covered up, to be honest. I don't want to point fingers at people who was there, but why were some people talked to who wasn't within 50 yards of him, and I was like 5, 10 feet away from him and wasn't talked to.
But all of the police ran away from that shot instead of going to see who fired the shot.
There were 2 sniper teams at least there, and they were prepared to kill. That I have no doubt about whatsoever. One of the lessons we learned from one of the sources was that there was no way that this assassination would go forward unless it had approval all the way up the chain of command.
To where?
To the commander-in-chief.
You mean the president?
Yes. But on the roof of the fire station, there were 2 Army photographers. They were psychological operations guys, and they were put up on the roof at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I guess, around 1, I guess it was, by Carthel Whedon, who was the captain of the fire station. Now, Carthel Whedon's a mystery man. He doesn't appear in any book anywhere. Name never surfaced. Nobody ever called him. Nobody ever talked to him. He didn't exist. And one day, I don't know quite what it was. I thought the man who used to always talk for the fire station was Ed Lonicky. He was a lieutenant. So I wondered, didn't the station have a captain? And I used to hang out in the station a lot. I played basketball there with some of the guys, and I thought they were going to start charging me rent at one time because it was such a critical place from an angle. So and then I said, yeah, of course it was a captain. It was Carthel Whedon. Carthel Whedon, where's he? Oh, he's retired a long time ago. Where's he? I don't know. Well, I found Carthel Whedon. I said, why don't you ever appear anywhere in any of the history of this case, or any of the investigative reports, the select committee, the FBI, Memphis, the police department? Anybody talking? No. I mean, why not, Carthel? You were captain. Weren't you on duty that day? Oh yeah, I was on duty. Oh. Well, now, is it true that there were some photographers on the roof of your station? He said, oh yeah. I put them up there. And they tell me the whole story about this thing. And of course, he testified trial later on. Hey, I put them up there. And what were they doing? He said, no, they stilled cameras. They're just taking shots. Well, what we learned was that one focused on the balcony and one focused on the parking lot. And when King was shot, the one in the parking lot scanned off to the left and up into the bushes and actually caught had a photograph of the sniper bringing the rifle down after shooting. So the whole assassination of Martin King was photographed, and those photographs are still around. We negotiated for 1.5 years to try to get them, and my contact made a mistake, used his own name once going into a meeting in Miami, and the local FBI picked up the trail when he got off the plane and followed him to the meeting. And then as he was meeting with one of the photographers, he had met with both of them. He was meeting with one of them, negotiating a price, actually. This guy lived in Costa Rica, too. One FBI agent just stuck this big long lens out the car, the passenger side of the car, and the guy saw it and just got totally spooked. And of course, then read. He said, they really know everything we're doing.
The state's case is that at 6:01 p.m. on April the 4th, 1968, in Memphis, Tennessee, James Earl Ray shot Dr. King with one bullet from a high-powered rifle. King was standing on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel. The state said that Ray fired from the bathroom window of a rooming house 200 feet away. He then fled the scene, dropping a bundle, including the rifle with his prints on it, in a shop doorway. Then he drove off in his white Mustang down Main Street moments before the police arrived. James Earl Ray had been almost a year on the run from the Missouri State Penitentiary, where he'd been serving a 20-year sentence for robbing a supermarket. Ray claims that in July 1967, he met a mysterious character called Raoul in Montreal. Over the next 8 months, he carried out various assignments for Raoul, taking packages across the Canadian and Mexican borders for money. Raoul gave Ray $2,000 to buy a Mustang car. In late March 1968, Ray says that Raoul instructed him to purchase a rifle and bring it to Memphis as a sample for a gun-running deal. Ray says that at 3 p.m. on April the 4th, he rented a room in a flop house on Main Street as previously agreed with Raoul. Later, Raoul asked Ray to leave while he met up with gun dealers.